I mentioned the number of people who have been killed so far. Right now, 57. There's real concern that that number could get even higher, depending on what Russia does next. As these defense officials are telling us, yeah, they're getting closer to basically encircling Kyiv. And I talked to one top member of Congress who said Putin's not going to stop at just encircling it. He wants it.
Look, we're going to use the at least 59 people killed, at least 149 people wounded. Those numbers are going to go up. There's just no question about that. I mean, you have fierce fighting in a number of locations around the country. You mentioned Chernobyl. Russian forces quickly overtaking that area. We understand they are still in control. The other thing that went down today that was of huge importance was Russian paratroopers went into an airfield 15 miles outside of Kyiv, and for a short period of time this afternoon, they held that airfield. More than 130 helicopters landed on that airfield. The Ukrainian government, they shot down 3 of those helicopters. But it gives you an idea of the fighting that is taking place in all of these different areas of the country. And look, let's be clear to our viewers. I'm here in Lviv. Right. Aaron McLaughlin, my colleague, is in Kyiv. Matt Bradley is in another spot. Richard Engel is on the front lines. And we don't really have the ability to move around that much, right, in Kharkiv. We're kind of stuck where we are. So a big picture of what's happening, we just don't have at this point. We're only 16 hours into it. And not only do we not have kind of the full picture, the Ukrainian government doesn't have the full picture because there are cyber attacks, there are communication issues. And the first thing that the Russian military targeted were command and control centers. Right. They wanted to knock out that communication and leave people wondering what's going on. You make such an important point, Cal, because we are sort of triangulating based on reports that we are getting from you and our teams in the field in Ukraine. But even top, U.S. officials are relying on some of these reports, too. Like, for example, how much of resistance is the Ukrainian defense forces, the Ukrainian military, putting up at this point? There are reports that they are hanging together, that they are hanging tough, essentially, to try to turn back this Russian aggression. But there's a question mark of how long that lasts. Yeah, and look, we can count on the Ukrainian government trying to make the best of this publicly, right? Trying to keep morale up. As you bring reservists up, you want more people to come. You want more people to defend the country. So you're not going to spin it, but you're going to choose sort of a way to tell the story. So we heard from the Ukrainian government today, a column of Russian armored personnel carriers was hit and was taken out. And then shortly after that, we heard from the Ukrainian ambassador in Washington saying there was a platoon of Russian soldiers that surrendered to Ukrainian forces. And she claims that these forces didn't know why they were there, that the Russian government didn't tell them that they were going to be in combat, that they were going to have to kill Ukrainian civilians. And when they realized this position they were put in, they surrendered. So you can see this information war playing out. And certainly on Russian television, you have a very different story of events. It was fascinating last night when the Ukrainian president went on Telegram, which is an instant messaging app, and he spoke to the Russian people in Russian. And he tried to counter what they're seeing on state TV by saying, we are not Nazis and we are not trying to attack you, because that's what the Russian public is hearing. Cal, real quick, what is the rest of your night? I mean, are you going to be in there, curtains drawn till dawn, basically? Is that the plan? We're trying to figure that out. We're keeping an eye on outside. The street lights are off. The building lights, the street lights are still on. The building lights are off. We want to respect any security concerns that happen, and we're obviously concerned for our own security at the same time. We do want to show people what's going on outside, so we're walking that fine line.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.